I've had love handles since I was 4.
What?
Boom, 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 yeah, get your kit off.
Oh, great, we're back on the vaginas.
It's bendy.
I actually took it to go away.
I welcome all penises here. Don't shag cows.
Clitoris.
Please never do that in my house. Hello, and welcome to Swipe, Match, Marry, the modern relationship and dating podcast. I'm James.
I'm Marny.
And I'm Steve.
Join us as we explore love, life and dating in London.
Do we have to adapt to find love?
How do you find and define your sexuality?
Has the internet ruined dating?
We're going to be discussing all of this and more as we attempt to unlock the code to modern dating culture.
Please be aware that this podcast contains adult content, sexual themes and strong language, which is the only reason why I'm here. Now let's get into the show.
Hello. What?
That was like out of Toy Story. Oh, what did he say?
Buzz Lightyear.
Buzz Lightyear, so when he lands on the bed, he's like, there seems to be no activity of any life anywhere.
Well, the problem was, I was getting a bit distracted by these polenta brownies that Marny made, and we're doing our normal thing, Sunday, coffee, some baked delicious thing that Marny's made, brownies this time.
Polenta
Brownies.
Polenta, not placenta brownies, which is what Steve thought Marny said. People do eat placentas, though.
People do eat placentas. Apparently, it's got all the goodness in it, hasn't it, that the baby's had, and they're supposed to be really good for you.
I'm not going to eat a placenta. Please do not put it in your brownies.
No, I mean, where would I get one? Is there a black market in placentas out there that I don't know about?
Yes, the Kardashians got one.
No, they didn't.
I'm not friends with them.
I watched a Kardashian episode once, and she got. I think it might have been an animal placenta,
What? No.
like a cow placenta or something, and she cooked it up.
I could not like that family any less, and then they go and buy a cow's placenta. They are ridiculous. I can't bear them. So, what have you got for us this week? We're looking in Cosmo, aren't we?
Yeah, I'm in the lust section.
Excellent.
Gosh.
And straight away, I'm a little bit put off the fact that it's called the lust section rather than the love section.
Oh, why?
Because it just means
It's a bit more
sex.
casual.
Oh, he's such
bit
a
more
romantic,
casual
isn't he,
than-
Steve?
Lovely.
Blimey.
Lust, sex.
The love section, like fall in love. Fall in love with people. Don't just lust people. Fall in love.
Why? What's
You've
wrong
got to
with
have one
lusting
before the
people?
other.
You do.
So there you
I
go.
agree with that. There we go.
So what are you reading?
So there's a page, and it's just a little like tweetagram page and it's called Worst Dates Ever.
Uh-oh.
And there's a couple of little stories here, and they are quite off the wall.
Are they?
I mean, I don't think any of us have had the same experience, and if we have, then I apologise.
Well,
But,
you haven't heard any of mine yet, so...
the big one is, he hit a deer with his car.
Okay, I didn't know what that was.
Told you it was off the wall. And all he had to say for himself was, well, that's dinner sorted.
Oh,
I mean, what would you do
God.
if you were on a date and someone said that?
I mean, I'd be genuinely worried and scared. That is...
If someone hit an animal while I was in a car with them, I would
You'd cry like a baby.
and I would try and resuscitate
Yeah.
it. What an awful thing to say.
Gosh,
Any
that's
others?
brilliant. Give us another one.
After our date, he wrote a cringy poem about me and then posted it on his blog for all my friends to see.
Oh, Lord.
We had only been out for one coffee.
Oh,
Costa?
Costa?
Yeah, I was hoping.
Costa, the dating mecca.
Oh,
I
blimey, oh my
cannot
gosh.
bear poetry. I'm sorry. I just think it's the worst.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, some World War poetry is very beautiful and I like that, but I hate it. So if anyone wrote a poem about me on a date...
That's a deal breaker.
It's a total deal breaker. Go away, you wizard.
It's the difference between a poem
wizard.
and, like, a
How are
magic
you
trick.
saying poem?
Poem.
That is the weirdest way I've ever heard poem
Hang
being
on a
said.
minute, Mira.
Write me a poem.
Mira. Oh, to be fair, I can't say mirror. I say Mira. Like
Mira.
Mira
Mira
Sayal.
Sayal.
Oh,
Yeah.
Christ.
Next.
We were in a club and my date got upset because she thought I was dancing with other people. She left. ... But when I got home, she was on my doorstep waiting for me.
Oh, that's a bit strange.
I mean, straight away on a
So
first
that's
date.
been submitted by a man, has it? Or a woman?
Oh.
There are lesbians these
That's
days.
from Anna. So that was a guy.
No.
That's from Anna talking about her
my
girlfriend.
date,
Anna,
because
who was
she
25.
thought I was dancing with other people, so that's a lesbian lady.
Oh, lesbian. Oh, yeah.
If that's a first date, that's odd. But
Yeah.
if that's a sixth date, then that's not
But this
so odd.
is just,
maybe?
worst dates ever, so
Yeah.
it could be any time.
It could be.
But I think if you just leave, I mean, I'd probably do the same.
I mean, this is
Turn
Leah.
up on someone's
Just get really
doorstep.
sassy and go, I'm leaving, and then actually not.
Flounce out with a scarf on. And
Exactly, my pashmina in the wind. Yeah.
Now Jasmine, who's 29.
Oh, bit of context.
I quite like Jasmine for this. I mean, bless, good for her. She goes, he told me not to tell anyone we'd been on a proper date, in quotation marks, as he and his boys don't date women, we just shag them.
Get rid of him. What a knob.
Well, this is what she did. So I checked us into the restaurant on the Facebook page for all people to see.
Good
Good.
for her.
Love that.
Good for her. This is
Well
the thing
done,
that
Jasmine.
I'm coming up against quite a lot at the minute, kind of like this lad thing, like lads, and they kind of don't want to be seen to be romantic or do kind of nice, genuine things. They don't want to go on proper dates because they've got this, like, there's this strange, like, lad culture. I've definitely experienced that with someone recently.
I think the whole lad thing is, I find it hilarious, and actually I think that in our maybe friendship groups, I think the whole lad thing is kind of come and gone, and now it's funny, like oh, it's so laddish. Like if someone like me who's very unladdish goes to the gym or picks up a heavy
like
shopping
ironic.
bag, exactly, I'm a lad.
Oh, I'm going to make a general sweeping comment here, sorry, but I'm finding that modern men don't really know their place very well. And I think that this comes from women being a bit more independent and a bit more forceful and voiceful about what they want.
Does that put men out of there because they don't know where they sit?
I think men don't know what to do with us, actually. They don't know how to behave.
I know exactly what to do with women.
Stay away.
Yes. Goodbye. Please stand over there. Unless you want to come round, bring brownies and talk about sex.
So I think it's kind of, I don't mean this in a patronising or condescending way at all, but I think it's quite hard for young straight men at the minute. Like, I don't know if they quite know how to be. And I think that's why they are falling into this lad culture, like all lads together, let's just shag birds rather than date women and be nice to them. Because they don't really know what to do.
Yeah.
Because their place 40, 50 years ago was to be a provider. Women don't need that now.
No.
And I have been told by somebody, a few people actually, that they don't want to go out with me because I don't need them. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to make myself feel vulnerable to make you feel better.
This is probably why people, I think women maybe take a bit longer to find somebody, because it used to be, the sort of the naive 19, 20, 21, 22 young woman would sort of want to be or feel like she had to be looked after.
Yeah.
And then you get a man, sweep in there, takes her out, a bit romantic, and then that's it, married.
Sorted.
And now people are like, well, no thank you. I want a degree, or I want qualifications, or I want to do well, I want to be a manager, there's no reason I can't. I could have my own thing, live my own life. And then sort of they're in that place where you've still got men sort of maybe trying to struggle to find someone to look after. People have lost a bit their place, or we're in this sort of weird in-between stage. And I kind of think like lads have maybe formed from that, like you said about men sort of not knowing where they are anymore or what they're meant to do. And I do think it's difficult for guys because, like we, I think we've mentioned before about splitting bills. It used to be the man would always pay, and that social expectation has gone. And there are women out there who still expect people to pay for their meals. There's people out there that split.
What I care about is the woman expecting me to pay.
Yeah, because
I've had that before.
Yeah,
I've
that's
had that
Literally
before.
don't even get that.
And I was just a little bit like, you're
just having a free meal, are you?
I'm getting this, and I'm fine getting this, but like, you could have at least offered.
I like the I'll
Actually.
get this, you get it next time.
Yes.
That's good.
That's some good little clincher for we'll meet again.
Making sure
Exactly.
you miss one
It's
again.
always an awkward thing. How do you do that when you're on a date? What do you do to, like, if the date goes well and you both enjoy yourselves and stuff like that? Like, when is the point where you talk about maybe another one?
I know, this is the thing, isn't it? Like, I think it varies. One of my most memorable dates was with a guy who I really liked. I liked him so much. And during our first date, like halfway through, he just interrupted me and was like, "We need to go on a second date. I've got tickets to a gig next Thursday. Do you want to come?" And I was like, brilliant. So we just decided there and then.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've been in situations where at the end of it, they've said, "This was really good, I want to see you again." You don't make a plan and then they ghost you, or you never hear of them ever again. And you're left going, "Oh, that's weird. Was that just a parting gesture that didn't mean anything?" I guess normally it happens via text, doesn't it? Or WhatsApp messaging afterwards. It's hard to say to someone's face, "Oh, I like you, I want to see you again," because you don't want to have their potentially negative reaction. But what I would say is it's much harder to be horrible to someone's face and turn someone down to their face than it is to just do it via your
just to wipe
phone.
them out or not say anything at all and just disappear.
Because I had a date once and we had a great night, and it was one of those dates where we met in a pub and we had a few drinks and it was about 8 o'clock, and then the next thing you knew we were being kicked out at 12:10 and we did not know where the time went.
Right.
And it was brilliant.
That's always lovely.
She actually brought it up as we were leaving the pub, and she was like, "This was great, so when are we doing it again?"
Good.
And I really enjoyed that. Like,
That's nice,
she took the plunge and she went for it, and I was just kind of like, yes.
So the good thing about being gay is that with a lot of things, you're coming at it from an even footing. There's not a tradition.
Yeah.
Which is actually one of the things that's really lovely about our upcoming wedding, is that it's quite a new thing, and there's no tradition yet. And you can kind of do what you like.
Is there,
No precedent, and that's
anything?
really lovely. It's really freeing, and that's a good thing about dating because there's no tradition there.
That is one thing, actually, talking about how there's no kind of like precedent set for kind of gay marriage, and it's a new world. That is one thing that I love about your engagement story.
Oh, really?
I just love that.
I don't know it.
So I'll tell you the engagement story. So I kind of had told him, half joking but half for real, because I was a bit scared of putting myself out there. I was like, "Well, great, but you're going to have to ask me," which is an awful thing to say. But I just sort of kind of felt it, because I'm probably the more insecure one out of the two of us. And
I thought you were going to say feminine then. And I was going to agree with you.
How dare you? Well, that too, probably. It's the dresses.
The pashmina.
The pashmina. So,
The throws.
I thought that actually I want to marry him, so I was going to do it anyway. We had this massive holiday booked to America, and I ordered a ring to be made in America and get sent to our friends in New York. And then on the night before we flew, we went for a meal in a place that I always had wanted to go. We had the meal, it was very lovely. Me being me, booked a cab, and he was like, "What?" And I was like, "Well, I booked a cab because we're going home." He was like, oh. And then it being Saturday night and an Uber, it cancelled. So he was like, "Oh, well, let's walk down towards the Strand." So we did that, and I was like, "Where are you going?" Because he was walking the way that I would not go. I'm very efficient, I go from A to B. And he was sort of going from A to A and a half to B. And I was like, "This is not the way." He was like, "No, come on, like it's nice." Like there were like Christmas lights out because it was sort of November time. And I was like, "Sure, I'm not very Christmassy." So we walked down that way, and then we walked to near where I used to work, and I just sort of go, "Oh, great, yeah, carry on." Like, "Okay, well, I don't really understand what you're doing, but we're going this way." And in the end, he had to grab me and go, "Will you just stand here and be cute with me?" And I was like, "Yeah, okay," still thinking, what on earth are you doing?
Yeah, he's lost his mind.
He lost his mind.
Yeah.
And it was beautiful. It was outside where I used to work, and it was a place where we used to meet up for coffee almost every day in between like my work shifts and his work. We just had a point in the day where we could meet up. And oh God, I actually felt my little eyes go then.
I mean, mine are going a little bit.
And he grabbed me and said, "I have a thing for you." And not isn't like a romance thing. He had a box. He said, "I have a thing for you, and if you want to be with me forever, you can have it." And I opened it, and it was a ring. Actually teary. It's because we saw a wedding venue today. Because normally I'm like, oh no. So that was that. So he proposed, and it was really lovely. And very out of the blue. It's very, very difficult to surprise me. So that was that. And then we had this awkward 2-3 days of him sort of saying, "Oh, I wonder if I get a ring now," and I was like, "Yeah, well, we'll have to get you one. We'll have to go shopping." So we get to New York, and my friends have this ring that's been sent to them, and we could not find the appropriate time to...
For you to get the ring off them, sure.
And eventually, he went to the bathroom in some bar we were at in New York, and they handed me this box, and I'd never seen it because I got it made. Company were brilliant, like obviously it was custom made, and I looked at it in this place, not thinking that we were surrounded by friends. Some of them knew what was going to happen, but most didn't. And I opened it, and they all started going into hysterics. Some of them started crying, and he only went for a wee, and I was like, shut up. So I quickly put it back in my pocket. Oh yeah, showbiz.
Casual.
And came back, and then I thought, well, I couldn't wait. So on the way back to our hotel that night, really late, I said, "So you know that the other day you asked me to marry you, and you got me a ring?" "Yes." "And you know you think you should get a ring as well?" "Yes." "Well, what if I had already got you one?" And then I asked him the same question back, and it was very lovely.
So fabulous,
It was so
isn't it?
weird that we were on the same
page at the same time.
And he managed to surprise me. But a week later, cycling across the Golden Gate Bridge, where I think we had both thought about doing it there, and we were on the Golden Gate Bridge, sweating, and it was gross, out of breath. Like, it was just absolutely beautiful, but just, you can imagine, I was just a bit... So, thank goodness. So we had a bit of a chuckle that we didn't have to
that
do
it wasn't
then.
that.
Yeah, so that's my engagement.
I love
I
it.
didn't know that story,
Did
and
you
I
not?
genuinely just got a smile from ear to ear on my face.
That's
It's
good.
so nice.
And that's a very...
It's so wonderful.
Yeah, it's lovely, and it worked out very well, and it was very... just so weird how we were both on the same page.
Swipe, match,
Marry. So I'm the
Yay!
marry.
And I'm also a little bit jealous that may never happen in a male-female
Do you think?
relationship.
I think it will
I'd
one
like
day,
to think
maybe.
we'd get there eventually, but there still is this
But
tradition.
you've got
isn't
the
it?
power to change that.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. But I don't have a boyfriend, so.
We hope you're enjoying the chat so far. If you want to get in touch with us or share your dating stories, you can follow us on Twitter @SwipeMatchMarry. Now let's get back to the podcast.
I read an article recently. It's in Marie Claire magazine, and it was an article about what do you do after an event.
Cup of tea.
always cup of tea.
What kind of event? What do you
So
mean?
it was 3 women talking about the emotional fallout of an exciting event.
Right.
The first exciting event is having a threesome. The second event was cheating on your partner.
Right.
And the third event is sleeping with your best friend.
Oh.
Now, I've never cheated on anyone.
Me neither.
And I don't have many straight male friends, actually. So I've never been in a position where I've, shagged a friend. But it just, for me, it throws up the question of how easy is it to have a platonic relationship with someone? So I guess for me and Steve, it would be having a platonic relationship with a member of the opposite sex. And for you, James, it would be having other gay friends.
Yeah, which I guess for a lot of gay men, they do. And I have to say, it is, especially when you're single and you meet new gay men, it always comes up. It's always that question, not necessarily for both people. But yeah, no, I've definitely had friends, or I do have friends now that question has come up before, because just by the nature of being gay, and also if you're attracted to someone as a friend, you do question whether you're attracted to them in another way.
Yeah.
Because obviously, when you get to know someone, it's not necessarily about looks. I think looks don't really last a lot in your sort of enjoyment of someone else's company. You get over that. You stop seeing them and you just sort of feel them. That sounds a bit deep. I think it can be really difficult, but I have straight female friends like you, straight male friends like you, Steve, and I have a lot of gay friends as well. But yeah, sometimes I guess it can be tricky. It's just good to be very concise. And actually, there's some people that I'm very glad that nothing ever happened with, because it would make it awkward. But that being said, one of my best friends ever, we slept together once. And there was an interesting thing that came out of that was where we had this initial attraction and slept together, but it never happened again. And we've always said that we just sort of got it out of our system and just carried on being friends because we obviously got on. It would absolutely have never, ever, ever worked between us. And I think we knew that. But we had this sort of weird thing, got it out of the way, and now we're good friends.
Good.
But I don't know whether that's as easy for platonic male and straight.
Straight people.
I've got a
male,
couple of
female,
platonic
straight.
friends.
You've got quite a lot, haven't you?
Platonic friends, is that it?
Yeah,
Or
that's
platonic
right.
relationships.
So a straight woman that you are just friends
female,
with.
female friend.
I've got 2. And I love them both dearly. They're just amazing company and they're just really good friends. Shared the same bed with them and, nothing has even happened. And nothing even got weird, do you know what I mean? Like, I said goodnight to them and I turned over and I fell asleep. And, I even went on holiday with one of them. We went to Mexico for a week and everyone was like, oh, you're going to shag, you're going to shag, you're going to shag. And I'm like, I'm genuinely not going to have sex with
Which
this
is
girl.
awful because I asked exactly the same question of you, and that's just a go-to response, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're a straight woman, you're a straight man. Obviously, something's going to happen, which is so
Some sea sand,
ridiculous.
sex,
Yeah, of course.
Margarita.
Did you share a room?
Shared a room, shared a queen size bed.
Did you?
So I didn't even know
My
she was
favourite
there.
size.
It was huge.
It's massive.
They're almost like the sisters that I've never had.
Okay.
That's what it genuinely feels like. Like I care for them so much.
And have you ever have any
you know what I mean?
friends that now fall under that category that you have had any interactions with, or they all been completely nothing ever, and you're just friends, or has there ever been that initial question,
If I fancied them first.
or vice versa,
They
or both?
fancied you.
I've never had it. I don't know if they've had it, and I don't know about it. People
Not-
do question my sexuality because of it.
Do they?
Yeah.
I think this might change over the years.
I hope so. What? His sexuality?
No, no. I think your sexuality might change over the years. No, I think that people's newfound independence and the roles changing and shifting,
Yeah.
I think that platonic friendships will come on. Isn't it brilliant to have a group of friends that are also different? It's great to have, for me, gay friends, female friends, male friends, and you just get perspective on so much more than that sort of, not narrow-minded, but just that narrow viewpoint. It's good to have more things to bounce off, isn't it? Marny, what is your take on platonic relationships?
Wow, this is definitely something that I've always struggled with, I have to say. I haven't got that many male friends. A lot of them are friends of...
Straight male friends.
Straight male friends.
'Cause you love the gays.
Single straight male friends, I
Right.
guess. Very few of them. I've got lots of male friends that are married or going out with my female friends.
Okay.
A really, really good friend of mine actually is my best mate's husband, and I would hang out with him on his own and it's not weird, and we've been to gigs and stuff together, and that's just a nice, cool relationship that I have. But, that's my mate's husband.
Yeah. That's quite modern in itself, though, I think.
Yeah, I
I
think
guess
so.
traditionally, like a woman, a friend, wouldn't let you hang out on your own with her husband.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
But also we, me and her, gay and a work friend, we met him around about the same time.
Okay.
So he's known me as long as he's known his wife, which
Right.
is nice. And they're like my family because I'm not from London. I think that's maybe plays another part in it as well. It's the London aspect of it definitely plays a part. Because naturally, when you're making friends, it's easier for me, at least, to make friends with the same sex. So I've got lots of female friends. And it's only really now, actually, that I'm getting more friends that are boys, I would say, in the past few years, and that's come via work. But it's difficult because I always think, God, there's people that I maybe want to send them a text and see how they're doing, but don't want them to misread that as do you want to go for a drink?
Right.
Hey, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, when I just mean, do you want to go for a drink?
Yeah, of course.
Do you know what I mean? And there's definitely people that I have done things with that I wish I hadn't, because I know that I would be good friends with them now.
Right.
And I wish that I hadn't slept with them.
Yeah, of course.
Because actually we could be mates now, and we kind of can't be, because I think if I text that person they would only read it as maybe a booty call, or do you want to go out for a drink, or do you want to go out for a date? And actually, I just like them as a person, and I definitely think I've ruined a couple of friendships maybe by letting.
But I don't think
sex
it's all
get in
you.
the way.
I don't think it's all you. It's them as well.
Oh no, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Takes two to tango.
It does take two to tango. That is true.
I do hope we get to a point where it doesn't really
It's
matter.
not a problem. Yeah, maybe it's my thing. Maybe if I did text them and say you're free for a drink, they wouldn't read anything into it. But I'm almost too scared to open that can of worms now.
Yeah.
So I just think, well, that's the thing that happened.
But
Live and learn.
moving forward, now you're a lady in your late 20s. Are you more open now to the idea of a straight male friend?
Oh yeah, I want straight male friends. Yeah, for all the reasons that Steve just said. Like, it's a different perspective, and it's a more rounded view of life, isn't it? Although I would say that when you get a girlfriend, maybe, if and when that happens, does that then affect...
Just for our potential listeners, you are pointing at Steve, not me.
Yeah, sorry.
Because they might question that.
That's just confused everyone.
Yeah.
So, let me present Steve with a scenario. You get a new girlfriend. How does that affect the female friendships that you have? Does it throw up, jealousy, or does it create a problem? Is it hard to stay friends with your female friends when you've got a girlfriend?
Well, I think this is something that I will experience in the future. I was on a date and we actually started talking about this. Right. And I'm very, very open about it. We were talking about how I went on holiday a couple of months ago with this girl, and nothing happened, and she was actually really cool about it, and she was like, almost in a way like, thank God that there's somebody out there that I know that can have that, because she genuinely feels like that with some of her lad mates.
Yeah.
To spin it round, would I be jealous of a girl that has straight lad mates?
Yeah.
And I don't think I would.
So if you had a girlfriend and then you found out that the night before she'd shared a bed platonically, that wouldn't bother you? Because it sure as hell would bother me.
Yeah, that's a different point.
It takes a very secure person for that not to
But that
affect
comes
them.
into, I guess, respect, doesn't it? And I think that your friend... So you're seeing someone and you like them, it's going well, you've got this great relationship with someone of the opposite sex and straight, and maybe you go, okay, well, what we're doing isn't wrong, we're sharing a bed together when it's convenient to, we're going on holiday, or you've come round for pizza and some movies, and we share a bed together, it means absolutely nothing, but I'm seeing this person, and do I stop that because it's respectful? Or do I just keep going on because I've got nothing wrong?
This is a very interesting point, and it's something that I've never really thought about. And I would genuinely think that, in a weird way, if I did have a girlfriend, then maybe them crashing over one night I would have to stop that to be respectful.
I think you would.
But then I wouldn't be dishonest to my friend about it. Do you know what I mean? It wouldn't, and hopefully that they'd understand that.
Yeah.
And it's a weird thing. But then, on the flip side, should you have to?
I know, it's tricky, isn't it? My ex-boyfriend and I met via friends. We were together for 18 months, and he had quite a lot of female friends, and I was very cool about the whole thing. I'm not a jealous person. I think it's a wasted emotion. And I didn't want to play the game of the weird, jealous stereotype.
Yeah. Right.
He always harboured a crush on one of these female friends of his. And I was very secure in our relationship and was like, that's fine. And that I never passed a comment, never said anything about it. They hung out. And within about 2 weeks of breaking up with me, he ended up going out with her.
No.
And they are still together now, so that's 2 years ago.
Wow.
And when we broke up, he lied to me about it being about her, because I'd started to feel a little odd about it towards the end of their relationship, because they had...
your relationship?
At the end of our relationship, because they'd had a couple of nights out. At the time I was working evening, so I wasn't invited, which again, I wasn't bothered about, where he'd stayed the night at hers. And I felt very
Oh, I wouldn't
upset
like that.
about it.
I wouldn't like that at all.
Even though he said he stayed on the sofa, and I thought, gosh, I'm hardly seeing you at the minute, and yet you're staying over at your female friend's house. And when we broke up, I directly said to him, has this got something to do with Dave, your female friend? And he said no. And then they started going out almost immediately.
But even that scenario of, you're working evenings and he's going out, even if he's going out with lad mates and ends up on the couch and you're not seeing each other, that's still almost like a lifestyle scenario that needs to be addressed, but that you would have concerns about.
Yeah.
Like,
don't get me wrong, there were other issues at play here. It wasn't just about this extra person, but it's quite a sensitive subject for me, I would say, because of that, for sure. And it takes a very strong woman to not play the jealous girlfriend, and I never was, and now I think actually maybe I should have spoken up and said that I'm unhappy about this, I'm uncomfortable with this.
And that's what I was going to say, you've got to, it's working out that chemistry and that balance and between each other, and if you ever feel a certain way or you have an insecurity about something, the worst thing you can do is just hold it in and let it build up and build up and build up and build up.
Big time.
You just go, hang on a minute, look, I was cool with that, it's now happening and now I'm not that cool with it, can we compromise and you not do that anymore? Or like, can we just at least...
It's all about open discussion and honesty.
And I think that is one thing that you have to do.
Yeah. So I did bring it up with him, and the following week he broke up with me.
Oh gosh.
Because you made him realise.
Because I said that I wasn't happy. Anyway, maybe we should finish with our Cosmo to cheer us all up.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Have you got any more worst dates
I've
ever,
got
Steve?
one final one.
Don't let us down now, Cosmo.
This is from Jenny, who's 21.
Ooh,
21?
young.
Quite,
That's young.
quite young.
I think that's
young for reading Cosmo or young for having
Not
worst
young
dates?
for reading Cosmo, but just
Young for writing into
young
Cosmo.
for us old
Yeah.
ladies.
Oh, is it?
And men.
He took me to watch a game. Then while we were in the stands, he asked me if he could borrow my credit card to pay off his electricity bill online.
Right.
God,
Well, poor Jenny.
Poor Jenny.
21-year-old Jenny paying for some
I
old
hope you
man.
found love, darling.
Well, thank you for the placenta brownies, Marny. They were most delicious.
More than welcome.
No, paella. No?
Paella brownies. Polenta.
Polenta.
Yeah.
Polenta. There's too many P words in this
Yeah,
one.
the brownies. Can we just say, full disclosure here, there's no placenta in any brownies. It's not mine.
Okay.
It's not my friend's. I haven't bought it off the internet.
And it's not Kardashian's.
Kim Kardashian hasn't lent me a cow placenta.
No.
It's a polenta brownie. And that is the end of this week's podcast. Thank you for listening. Please, please, if we haven't put you off enough, tune in again.
Bye. See you later. Bye.
Bye. Thank you for listening to this episode of Swipe, Match, Marry. We'll be back next week for more relationship hijinks. Until then, please remember to subscribe using the podcast app so you don't miss out on any future episodes.
If you're braving the world of dating, or even if your dating days are behind you, we'd love to hear from you on Twitter. Give us a shout at Swipe, Match, Marry.
And as always, we hope that next swipe leads to a match and maybe even a lifetime of happiness.